Alright guys, as you can see, I have already greased the spindle and I'm gonna get this caliper up here. Alright. Over here. See what I'm doing. So that's the brake line. That's going to be a 10 millimeter. So I'm gonna go grab my sockets. Actually, that's an 11 millimeter right here. Just use the impact because it's easier. All right, and of course it drips fluid. I kind of wanted to drip some of it out because the fluid's dirty and it needs to be flushed anyway. But I'm gonna use my hose pliers to keep from making a mess. So that's when these guys come in handy. I'm just gonna open these up, come down to the brake line and just Alright, I'm gonna grab a brass hammer, my pry bar, and a screwdriver. Okay, and what I have to do is I'm gonna use a screwdriver to wedge in there. Just pop those off. If you get a good set of pads, it's gonna come with this stuff on it. And inside there are the O-rings. Use your pick, dig down in there with your pick, and oh, I'm not even in the shot. Move that back some. Take the pick, pull out those O-rings. Same thing on the other side. Just take your pick, pull out the O-rings. All right. Pick's bent on the end, as always, so that's why it's catching. All right, on the other side, got a similar deal. These rubber caps that are in there, it's hard to get them out without first taking the seals out. So first thing I'm gonna do is pop the seals out with my pick. After I pull the seal out, I can take my screwdriver and go in the recess where the pick was and pop that guy out. It's a pain to try to get that out without taking the seal out first. Cheap little tool, I think OEM tool makes it, or somebody. I broke one of the ends off of it already, so I have that. And caliper pusher. All right, so that's pushed all the way back. I'll just loosen that up, pull that out. Okay. So that's pushed back, And now I'm gonna I try not to reuse the seals. If they're in good condition, I will if the new ones don't fit. And I know for a fact that these newer ones that I got, it's a 50-50 chance whether they're gonna stay seated or not. And I'm using a tray like this to hold all my parts so I don't lose bolts and stuff. So these are the slide pins for this particular style, and they need to be cleaned up. So I gotta clean all this stuff up and use brake clean. Using, that's what they came with. So I will attempt to use those. And they go in pretty easy. Just kind of squeeze the seal, push it in there. I stick my pinky finger in there and use it as a guide to seat the seal in the little recess for it. And it doesn't take long. And now, as you can see, that seal is in there. These pads have these little holders. So this one goes in like so. And this one grabs in these little indents. And you can just line it up and kind of press down. And see, it's very tight. So I just take the hammer and knock it in there. Now it's in there. So we got a nice assembly now. Okay. Almost ready to go back on the vehicle. But we still got a couple more parts. So we have these caps and we have these. So the big boots go on the back. All right. But it's better to put them on after the slide pins are in. To put these other ones in though, to put these in. Some of this caliper grease and grease the inside. Stir it up. Sometimes the water comes out of this thing. Just lube that up some for the slide pins. All right. Take the slide pins. You want to clean these guys up some so that they're get that. because these seals are a little bit bigger than the ones that I noticed that when I did the other side. So now you can really see it. See what happened? It knocked the seal out. That's no good. All right, so you see how this pin moves in and out very easily like that? If yours doesn't do that, you need to hold this down, because I ran into this problem with this one. Just hold it like right there, and then tap that with the hammer to get it to go in. And after it, and what you're doing is you're binding the bottom so the slide pin can't move through the gasket. And then when you get it to move, I lubricated the pins so that they can move freely. Because if the slide pins can't slide, when you go to hit the brakes, it's gonna have problems. And my dad said that this vehicle, the brakes were not working very well, so that very well could be part of the problem. So these need to be able to move in and out without the sheath moving. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna put this back together. All right. Let's bring it down. And this is gonna be very easy. First, I gotta find the banjo bolt. All right, when you open up these brand new calipers, brake rotors, typically you're gonna be dealing with rotors. If you got an old truck like this, it's gonna be the whole assembly type deal. All right. The reason this is all nice and shiny is because it has a protective coating on it. It keeps it from rusting on the shelf. So you got to get that off before you go installing all the stuff on the truck, or that is going to negatively impact your brake pads. It doesn't work well with the brake pads, this coating that's on there. All right, now we're ready to put it all together. Make sure that you apply grease to your spindle if you're doing this on this type of a truck, which is a 92 C1500, or if you're doing it on a camper. The camper is going to have the exact same setup minus the dust shield and all of that other suspension that's back there. You're going to take your hub assembly with your freshly packed bearing and seal installed, and you're going to stick it on there. Okay, it's probably not going to want to go all the way on. If you have the right size bearing, eventually it will. All right, so just give it a couple whacks and it'll go on there. Okay, next thing, we're gonna put the other bearing on there and get it all together. Just went and packed it real quick using that Lao bearing packer, and just grease it up liberally. And when you put this on there, tapered side in, it's gonna help align this guy. You see how I just got it to go on? Helps align it so you can push it all the way on. And you're gonna go back to your tray or your whatever you're using to keep your parts. Get your flat washer, and you see how it has a key? This has a little notch in it, so this can only go on one way. Make sure this wheel is back together right. So I'm trying to get you down. So right now I've done my little quarter turn back, but my thing isn't lined up. The castle nut is in the way of the cotter pin hole. So I gotta back off a little more. Go grab a new cotter pin. Make sure my pins are pushed in so it's not going to interfere. And I'm going to put these on. I'm going to make sure the bottom is in first. Make some adjustments and I'll be back.